Of course, as I am certain you have all noticed, the second half of the Epic of Gilgamesh takes the form of a quest. When I was an undergraduate student, my professors, too often, started out their lectures about literature with mystifying statements along those lines. I remember that too often, my classmates and I simply pretended that we understood. We would just nod our heads and mumble, of course, of course. Sometimes, not often enough, one of us would muster the courage to raise our hand and admit that, no, we had not noticed that, and that we were not at all certain what elements needed to be present for part of a tale to qualify as a quest. When I became a professor myself, one of the promises I made to myself was that I would try not to make mystifying statements to my students when we were talking about potential interpretations of the literature we were reading. Instead, I would try to demystify the process of interpretation by showing my students how to evaluate whether the textual evidence in a tale would, for example, prove that part of a tale qualified as a quest. Because we're reading myths about heroes in this module of World Mythology as Literature, it is time for me to help you understand quests. Thomas C. Foster, who taught English at the University of Michigan, Flint, for almost 40 years, shares a useful framework for identifying quests in his best-selling book, How to Read Literature Like a Professor. I've included an excerpt from Foster's book, which is titled Every Trip is a Quest, except when it's not, in the materials for Module 3. In it, Foster breaks down the 5 elements that would qualify part of a tale as a quest. As Foster tells us, a quest consists of 5 elements. 1, a quester. 2, a place to go. 3, a stated reason to go there. 4, challenges and trials along the way. And 5, a real reason to go there. The first of those 5 elements, a quester, is simply a character who goes on a quest. However, I should point out that character does not need to understand that they are on a quest, particularly at the start of it. The second and third of those elements, a place to go and a stated reason to go there, go together. To qualify as a quest, a trip must involve a destination and a supposed purpose. The fourth of those elements, challenges and trials along the way, are whatever threatens to prevent the quester from reaching their place to go. And finally, the fifth element is the real reason to go there. As Foster states in the excerpt, every trip is a quest, except when it's not. The real reason for a quest is always self-knowledge. That is why questers are often immature and or inexperienced. It is the experiences they have on their quests that enable them to mature and to achieve the self-knowledge that allows them, and often their communities, to lead more fulfilling lives. So, when we read the second half of the Epic of Gilgamesh, let's try to identify these 5 elements of a quest. Oh, I didn't intend that to be a mystifying statement either. In Donna Rosenberg's version of Gilgamesh in our required textbook, World Mythology, the second half of the epic starts in what she calls Chapter 6. If we were instead reading the unabridged Epic of Gilgamesh by Sinliki Unini, it would start in Tablet 8. In both, then, it is specifically the trip that Gilgamesh takes after the death of his companion Enkidu that we will evaluate as a candidate for quest status. Because, as Foster points out at the end of the excerpt, once you understand quests, the rest is easy.